And Lebo Thinane caught up with South Africa's most expensive living artist, William Kentridge, at the Johannesburg Art Gallery to speak about his work and life. You've seen the first part of that interview, and today we bring you the second installment. Here it is. Enjoy.
How does it feel to be at this point where you are? You in the midst of your career, you're enjoying it, you affect so much. You have 3 exhibitions currently on in Johannesburg. You're doing collaborations with some of the most followed artists in this country. How does it feel to be at this point?
It feels like there's this idiot who's showing off the whole time and I can't keep him in control. And I sort of, from a distance, I can watch him. Sometimes I'm over here watching this person here, but sometimes it's me watching that person there. And I try to get him to behave and not to show off too much, but sometimes he's completely out of control. And at night he has to come back with me, and at 4 a.m. we both lie there thinking, what the hell are we going to do tomorrow?
And in English?
And in English, it's about a separation, that there is this persona who has a lot of followers and renown and things like that. But there's also nothing like having family and children to take away any illusions of grandeur.
Mm-hmm. That was going to be my next question. How much of being a father and a grandfather has changed your work and William Kentridge personally?
Well, certainly having children transformed me, in the sense that suddenly your focus shifts. It's not about me, what can I do, what will I be, who will I be? It's about, my God, okay, here's a small child I'm responsible for. Let's make that the focus. And that made it so much easier to do the drawings. So there was a way of having a child and not feeling oneself as the center of the universe that made it much easier to work as an artist.
With the world of fine arts changing so much, with so much installation art, performance art, and new methods and formats in the industry, I've always wondered how it makes an artist who's existed for as long as you do feel. How are the changes affect you?
I find them fantastic. I mean, in fact, one has to be grateful for the artists 100 years ago, Marcel Duchamp, the Dadaists, who started saying even though they were artists, in fact, they were going to write a poem, or they were going to do a performance, or they'd find a bicycle wheel and that. So if you're a poet today, it's very difficult to say my poem today is going to be this dance or this drawing. So the visual arts is in this very fortunate and unique position where there is such an openness. And it means in Johannesburg for me to work with fantastic dancers like Dada Masilo, with musicians like Philip Miller or Naya Muyanga. There are wonderful possibilities of collaboration that seem natural and easy. And it also means there are institutions like the Johannesburg Art Gallery that will show something that's not a painting. It's 5 projections, 4 megaphones, a breathing machine. It's a wonderfully free and rich time to be working as an artist. Not just for me, but for all artists here.
Who are some of the people that you attribute this successful life to? And we're not talking family, let's take the wife and the kids out.
So I would say, in terms of the drawing, I'm completely indebted to Tumi, whose work I saw before I was an artist, but made me understand that large-scale figurative charcoal drawings have a place in the world. Bill Ainsley, the teacher at the Johannesburg Art Foundation, was a very key person. Various lecturers at university in politics gave me a way of understanding the world as in process the whole time rather than being a fact. And that both shaped a political understanding, but also a way of understanding what it is to be making an artwork. These people were key. Then there are writers like Vladimir Mayakovsky, the Russian poet. For me, was a very important figure. Pablo Neruda, with his Canto General, Mikis Theodorakis. There are various key moments when one sees a work of art which doesn't so much change you, but confirms you in who you can be.
We've been arts journalists for quite some time now, and whenever the topic of William Kentridge comes up, there seems to be always an assumption that you're this tough facade that cannot be penetrated. Do you know why we assume you're difficult?
I don't know, it's a mixture of shyness, that it's not a question of, and the fact that I'm in the studio. It's, it's hours and hours, whatever free time there is, the studio calls. And maybe just not much to say.
Take us back to, we're going to rewind a little bit, take us back to the Kentridge household and your parents, and you are the second of 4 children. What is this house like?
The house is a house of lawyers, which is to say that any foolish arguments you make at supper time are going to be cut to shreds by the cross-examination of both parents, but primarily my father. So that's one of the reasons why I became an artist. I decided I needed to find a way which I could find my own opinions that were safe from cross-examination. And there's a way in which making art is connected with making meaning in the world, but not in a straightforward, rational way of a Socratic argument. So a lot of interest in art, a lot of great art on the walls. It was a period when people had reproductions of great paintings. So we had a Matisse and a Cézanne and all of this, but of course I thought they were the real things. Later on, when I was about 12, I understood they were just prints from museums. But it meant I was aware of those things, and also very much being aware of artists at work in the circle of friends of my parents. And then an older sister and a much younger brother and sister, and a mother who was a lawyer but then became a painter. She said it's always reverse genes. She got her painting genes from me after the event. But obviously there was something in her that was waiting to paint all her life.
So how many white shirts do you have, and what is it with you in the white shirt?
Okay, the white shirt is, there are two things. Firstly, when drawing with charcoal, a white shirt is good because however dirty it is, you can kind of boil and bleach a white shirt and you get it back to being very clean very easily. Okay, so it's actually a functional shirt. The second is for traveling, to not have to think about what am I putting in the suitcase. One takes 5 shirts and you're done. So there's a 20-second packing of a suitcase. And the third is I asked our costume designer, our great costume designer who does the costumes for the operas and other things, I said to Greta, come on, look at this. Take me shopping. Give me something else to wear. And she just looked me up and down and she said, well, in fact, I think it's fine. And so I begged her for something that's not a white shirt, but it hasn't yet come.
Which is the one William Kentridge piece which you would gladly take to your grave with you?
Well, if I had to take one piece, I suspect it would be the book 6 Drawing Lessons, which is the one piece of writing of trying to work out what I've been doing in the studio all these years. And the advantage is it would fit easily into the pocket of the jacket they bury me in. And rather than be a big messy canvas that... but otherwise I'd be very happy to be buried far away from all the work.
Thank you very much for your time, Moni. I appreciate all of this.
It's been very nice talking to you. Thank you.
South African artist, printmaker and filmmaker around William Kentridge was a cultural icon for this week.